old and a new 11-year-old. He just turned 11 last week, and they've been at home for 2.5 months. And as entertaining as I may be, I know that my kids need spaces that they're able to engage in socially, that they're able to play in, that's not their house or their front yard.
And so the Children's Museum of the Upstate does just that. So check out their summer camps and see what might be interesting or interested for your children as well. So many different subjects for so many different age groups as well. Back to you, Ted.
I think that's amazing, and I think parents are going to be acting pretty quickly to get their kids in here, because trying to keep them busy, right? Trying to find different things to do outside of the home. Now that summer break has fully arrived, just going to try and keep that creativity coming. Joe, we'll be sure to check back. Thanks so much.
Well, Greenville is a hot spot of the state when it comes to the coronavirus outbreak, and now leaders will address the rising problem. We'll have a live report on today's meeting coming up. Heading to break with a live look over I-85. Traffic still running along smoothly out there. Of course, we'll be watching it for you and letting you know if anything does pop up. We're going to be right back. Stay with us.
Started feeling ill, I'm a weak one started passing out. The young ones, they could not sit still. The preacher's voice rose. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. I snuck up to the balcony and I crept into the choir. And I begged them, brothers, sisters, help me please. I said, when I give you a signal, I said, when I raise up my hands, won't you please join with me together? Praise the Lord, I have a plan. Preaching, get preaching. And long as the struggle hard to fight, and I pray, Father, please forgive me. And I stood up and with all my might sang to the Lord, let praises be. It's time for dinner now, let's go. We got some things to see good cornbread. Now listen to what the preacher said. Now it's to the Lord, let praises be. It's time for dinner now, let's go. Listen, and I did give the signal. Listen, and I raised up my hands. Join with me the choir. For every woman, a child and man sang to the Lord, let praises be. It's time for dinner now, let's go. We got some beans and some good cornbread. Now listen to what the preacher said. Now it's to the Lord, let praises be. It's time for dinner now, let's go. And the preacher, he stopped preaching, and a hush, the church did fill. And then a great white dove from up above landed on the windowsill. And the dove looked down beside him. A fork appeared right in his hand. Everybody watching, the preacher ate that bird right there and then. Whoever
The Morning News starts right now.
Concerns for city leaders are beginning to grow as Greenville becomes a hot spot for new cases of COVID-19. A live report as they meet to address the issue is coming up.
And it's starting to dry out in our area as the storms pick up some steam in the Midlands. I'll let you know what's expected locally for the next few days.
Good morning, everyone. It's Thursday, June 11th. Thanks so much for joining us here on Fox Carolina. I'm Margaret Ann Carter. Of course, we have meteorologist Nicole Pape and Ted Payton in the building. And then Chris and Isaac have the morning off, but we're holding it down here.
Yeah.
Doing what we can.
Must be nice. I mean, you look outside, it's going to be a beautiful day. We're still here.
It doesn't look so beautiful just yet. This is the view over I-85 in Greenville County. Ted might not be able to see the clouds through the skylight so far, but yeah, it is. It's a bit gloomy still, and it's very humid outside. Just like yesterday, we still have some pretty widespread humidity. Things aren't going to be all that bad today, but we are really in for the nicer weather starting tomorrow and lasting into Saturday and even part of Sunday too. For now, we continue watching the shower and storm activity in the Midlands and pushing toward the coast. It's all part of a cold front that's coming through. Eventually today, the sky will start to clear. We're going to hold on to clouds this morning and likely through midday. Then the afternoon gets a little bit brighter. Highs do get up to 89 degrees, so it's going to be a pretty hot one in the upstate. Mountain towns, you have the influence of a northern breeze today, so that means your temperatures are holding off to about 80 degrees and you'll have a little less humidity. Things are going to look pretty good. We'll see a drop in temperature a bit for tomorrow and Saturday and especially into early next week as we see a chance for rain return from Sunday onward. We'll talk more about that coming up. We're also watching the roads this morning. Here's a look at I-85. We want to show you that so far. Things are pretty good. This is right near the BMW exit, mile marker 58.5 there. Not so many issues, not so many cars so far this morning, but we'll continue following other areas that may be of concern for drivers coming up in a couple of minutes. Margaret Ann.
All right, thanks so much, Nicole. We are following several breaking news stories for folks across the upstate this morning. The first out of Greenville County, where one person is recovering after an overnight shooting. Deputies were called to North Old Buncombe Road and Travelers Rest around 10:30 last night in regards to a gunshot victim. We are told that at least 8 units responded there, and right now we're working to learn more information from the sheriff's office. Also out of Union County, police are investigating the county's second deadly shooting in less than 12 hours. This is a look at the scene along South Church Street around 10 o'clock last night. That shooting happened within city limits and is being investigated by the police department. The coroner actually just sent out the name of that victim minutes ago. His name has been identified as Drayshawn Smith. He's 26 years old of Union. And of course, we'll get more information on exactly what led up to that shooting as well as if there's any arrests that have been made and anything else going on. We're also learning, some heartbreaking new details out of Lawrence County, where the coroner there is releasing the names of 3 people that were killed in a car crash. Troopers say that it happened at the intersection of Old Airport Road and US 76. We're told that the driver lost control and then went off the side of the road and hit a tree. Gary Lyons Sr., Gary Lyons Jr., and 17-year-old Cameron Watford all passed away.
Well, Governor McMaster says that he will be extending the state of emergency as South Carolina sees a surge in COVID-19 cases. DHEC has officially called Greenville County a hot spot as the area has seen some of the highest case counts over the last week and a half. However, state leaders are warning all counties need to take precautions.
Your community might not be a hot spot today, but there should be no mistake that COVID-19 transmission is still high and widespread in South Carolina at this time, and it remains a threat to all of us. I am more concerned about COVID-19 in South Carolina than I have ever been before.
Right now, there are nearly 16,000 cases and 575 deaths across the state. As said, Greenville County is the most infected with more than 2,300 cases. Thankfully, DHEC says 80% of that 16,000 have recovered. Well, now Greenville leaders are working to address the issue. They will meet later today to discuss their response to the rise in the coronavirus cases. Fox Carolina's Michelle Zhu is live where that meeting will take place this morning. Michelle, good morning.
Yeah, Ted, given these rising numbers, the city of Greenville Mayor Knox White wants to meet with other leaders from across the county and state to talk about next steps. And they want to encourage people to continue following these health guidelines to continue to put the virus behind us. Now, they are meeting later today, this afternoon, and this is after public health officials labeled Greenville County a hotspot for COVID-19. And the governor is also extending the state of emergency. And meanwhile, leaders are also looking at data to get a better idea of the impact of this virus on our community. Now, meanwhile, state epidemiologist Linda Bell says it's largely impacting the Greenville County Latino population. This is based on interviews they've conducted in those communities.
We've seen some of our highest daily numbers since the pandemic began, and there have also been recent increases in our percent positive, which tells us that more people than we would hope for who are being tested are sick.
Now, Dr. Bill also says the uptick in numbers isn't surprising because testing capabilities have opened up to more people. Now, that briefing I mentioned with the city mayor and other leaders will take place at 1 o'clock this afternoon. They'll be taking a look at the data and also the impact on other communities. So, of course, we will be keeping an eye on that. You can stay tuned with us this afternoon to see what all comes of that meeting and how our community is responding. Back to you.
Michelle, thanks. Now, if you want to get tested for the coronavirus, healthcare providers will have a site set up at the Little River Multicultural Complex in Hodges today, as well as the E.B. Morse Elementary in Lawrence. There will also be an opportunity at Duncan Chapel Elementary in Greenville on Saturday. Testing is completely free, and you do not need to have a doctor's note. Also, Greenville County Councilman Enos Fant is encouraging anyone who has participated in the county's most recent protest to get tested. He says that there's free COVID testing available for the public at the Greenville Convention Center. Just as Michelle mentioned, that opportunity is available through the end of the week.
Developing this morning, we're learning new information about the officers involved in the death of George Floyd. Thomas Lane is out of jail this morning after posting bail. He was released on conditions with a $750,000. That includes being monitored, not carrying a gun, and not taking part in any law enforcement activities. He is one of 3 officers that's been charged with aiding and abetting second-degree murder. In the meantime, former officer Derek Chauvin, who was seen on video kneeling on George Floyd's neck for almost 9 minutes, is charged with second-degree murder and remains in jail. He is reportedly negotiating a plea deal. All 4 men are expected back in court on June 29th.
Now, these new developments come the same day as George Floyd's brother gave an emotional testimony to lawmakers on Capitol Hill. Yesterday, Philonise Floyd called for police accountability and reform, saying that they needed to make the necessary changes to make law enforcement the solution to not the problem. The testimony comes just a few days after Democrats unveiled a sweeping police reform legislation. Republican lawmakers are also considering proposals to combat racial discrimination and police brutality. The Senate Judiciary Committee is expected to hold a hearing next Tuesday. Now let's get a look at that national weather story with Nicole.
Yeah, Ted, it varies quite a bit depending on where you are and what you feel today. We've got temperatures in the 50s out near Denver, 60s across the Midwest, and even now reaching into the Ohio River Valley. Now we're seeing 70s to near 80, even this morning along the coastal region of the United States East Coast. So this is the area of concern today. There is a cold front that is between that cooler and warmer air, and it will spark a chance for showers and storms to turn strong to severe today. And while a few other spots in the country could see some small activity, it's this East Coast region that will have a long stretch from parts of northern New York, Vermont, New Hampshire to Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, Virginia, the D.C. area, and even down here into the Carolinas. Midday into the afternoon will be the most active time. What that means for our local forecast, I'll have for you coming up in a few minutes. But first, we need to check in with Grace.
Greenville County water parks are just about ready to reopen. Officials have spent the last several weeks making changes to keep people safe during the pandemic. We'll tell you what some of those are coming up in just a few minutes.
Got really nervous, and the preacher he did start to glow. And as we watched on in disbelief, these were the words he spoke. I said, "Mama's in the kitchen, but she's been there all day. I know she's cooking something good, so bow your head and pray." And we sang to the Lord, praise His name. It's time for everybody, let's go. We got some beans and some good cornbread. Listen to what the preacher said. To the Lord, and praise His name. It's time for dinner now, let's go. And the moral of this story, children, If a preacher preaches long enough, even he'll get hungry too. Listen to the Lord, let praises be. It's time for dinner now, let's go. We got some beans and some good cornbread. Now listen to what the preacher said. Now to the Lord, let praises be. It's time for dinner now, let's go. We got some beans and some good cornbread. Listen to what the preacher said. To the Lord, praises be. It's time for dinner now, let's go. We got some beans and some good cornbread. Listen to what the preacher said. To the Lord, praises be. Got some hot sauce for dinner with a cornbread. I wanna eat now. What the preacher said. Hey, hey, I wanna eat now. Somebody feed me. Feed me now. Everybody just say to the Lord, praises be. It's time for dinner now, let's go. We got some beans and some good cornbread. Listen to what the preacher said. To the Lord, praises be. It's time for dinner now, let's go. We got some beans and some good cornbread. Listen to what the preacher said. To the Lord, praises be. It's time for dinner now.
You're watching The Morning News on Fox Carolina, the local station.
Welcome back to The Morning News on Fox Carolina. Quite an interesting look right now as we are watching over I-85 at Pelham Road. You could see the clouds overhead, making for a little bit of an eerie look on this camera, but things could look differently depending on where you are. Just something that you might be seeing as you get your day started. Of course, could see a peak of sunshine a little bit later on, though. Well, 8/12 happening today. President Trump is expected to publicly address policing reform while meeting with law enforcement and faith leaders in Dallas. It's possible that the president could also announce some measures to address the issue of race and policing in the United States that he can do on his own with an executive order. This comes more than 2 weeks after the death of George Floyd, and the White House has yet to settle on a message in reaction and concerns about police brutality and systematic racism.
We're learning new information this morning about a heartbreaking case out of Idaho where relatives of 2 missing children are confirming that their remains were in fact found. 17-year-old Tylee Ryan and her 7-year-old brother Joshua Vallow have been missing since September of last year. Authorities revealed that the 2 sets of human remains were found on their stepfather's property in Rexburg. Details of the discovery came after police said Tuesday they had executed a search warrant as part of the month-long investigation into the disappearance of the 2 children. Yesterday, Chad Daywell was charged with destroying evidence, and the judge set bail at $1 million. Now he faces up to 10 years in prison and $20,000 in fines if convicted. His wife, Lori Vallow, is currently awaiting trial for multiple charges as well, including 2 felony counts of desertion and non-support of children. Now, the case has drawn global attention for its ties to the couple's doomsday beliefs and the mysterious deaths of their former spouses. They are both expected back in court early next month. You'll want to stay connected with our Fox Carolina News app for the very latest information on all news, traffic, and weather. It's free to download. Just go to your app store or foxcarolina.com.
8/14, Greenville County's water parks are almost ready to open for the summer. Now, COVID-19 delayed their reopenings, but officials say that they've taken steps to make sure swimmers can stay safe and have fun. Fox Carolina's Grace Runkle is live outside of Discovery Island with more on the precautions being taken. Grace?
Well, Ted, next Monday, June 15th, Discovery Island and all the other water parks in Greenville County are going to be back open for the summer. But you're going to see some changes because officials have spent the last several weeks working on ways to make it safe for you to come out here during the pandemic. In fact, we've been looking around and it looks like they've gone ahead and spaced out a lot of the seating, and they've put up those social distancing signs that we're seeing in a lot of other places. They usually open up on May 25th every year, but the pandemic pushed that back. Governor McMaster gave pools the go-ahead to open up on May 18th, but Greenville County Parks and Recreation officials wanted more time to train staff and make sure proper precautions were in place. They say they will be following CDC guidelines, and those suggest that people should wear a mask when they're not in the pool and take steps to social distance at all times, even in the water. The CDC also says pools might have to change or close down some slides and play areas. Greenville County officials are going to be telling us more about their plan and what people can expect coming up this morning at 11 o'clock. And of course, we're going to be there at the meeting and bring you all the latest details that you need to know before you come out here to the pool. Ted?
Grace, thanks so much. And just a reminder that you can watch us for free anytime on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV. Just search for Fox Carolina and watch our newscasts and videos whenever you want. Now let's get a look at that forecast. Nicole?
Fox Carolina weather. Weather rates certified most accurate.
Now we continue watching the changes that are in store for the days ahead. For now, things are pretty normal here compared to the last few days, but you look to our west and you'll notice all the blue on the map. This is a big drop in temperature, anywhere from 5 to 15 degrees. And that's what's going to slowly move in for us by tomorrow. Today still stays fairly warm, even to 90 degrees in some spots. All that's happening because of a cold front that's been pushing closer. It's now moving through today, and it's going to inspire the east coast of the U.S., including the Midlands and the coastal region of the South Carolina area, to see the best chance for showers and thunderstorms today. We stay out of range for that. As this front passes through, it's going to slowly clear out the sky. We will see broken cloud cover for most of the day. We're not going to see a quick push of clear sky all at once building in, but it will happen in a slow process. Anytime you see clouds today, you may find a brief shower. Futurecast does show a chance for light sprinkles in the afternoon. I anticipate most spots staying dry, but it's still a possibility. I'd call it about a 10% chance for rain later on today. By tomorrow, once that front really pushes through and away from us, we're going to clear out almost entirely. So Friday looks to be the brighter day of the two. Temperatures right now sit in the 60s to middle 70s. It's warming up now that the sun's been up, even with that cloud cover. In the upstate today, we're still going to feel like we have in the last couple of days. The heat and the humidity will stick around. Highs get to near 90 degrees. Mountain towns, you're going to start to feel the change a little bit quicker. So you're going to have a little less humidity today and highs only to 80 degrees. So looking and feeling a little bit improved, and that will end up in the upstate by tomorrow. Rating the day, I'm going to call today a 9 out of 10. The heat and the humidity holding us back from perfect 10 conditions, but that just goes to show we likely will have a perfect 10 at the end of the week tomorrow. Saturday looks to bring another perfect 10 day. Gorgeous weather all day Saturday. And then by Sunday, small rain chances will start to build back in. Mainly in the afternoon. It should stay fairly spotty, but it is something we'll look at for Sunday and for several days next week. Limited afternoon showers and storms. Temperatures at that point will hold back temporarily into the 70s and lower 80s and then start to climb again through the middle of next week. So really it's today that brings the heat, and then tomorrow and Saturday that bring the nice weather ahead of a small rain chance returning. Let's get to the roads now. Margaret Ann watching traffic for us today.
Sure am. We're taking a look right now. This is over I-85 near Brockman-McClyman Road. Traffic moving along smoothly out there. We hope that this continues throughout the morning news. But if not, if anything pops up, we'll be sure to let you know about it.
Fox Carolina Senior Shoutouts are sponsored by Publix. Congratulations to all 2020 graduates from Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
We do want to get to more of our senior shout-outs this morning because many high school and college seniors are missing out on their last semester of school, and we want to take a moment to recognize them this morning for their years of hard work. First up, we'll have a shout-out to Amani Martin. She's graduating from a high school in Pennsylvania. She's going to Delaware County Community College this fall, 2020, and is majoring in psychology. Congratulations to you, Amani. And celebration for Amber James, who's graduating from Landrum High School with honors. She plans to attend North Greenville University and major in elementary education. Last and certainly not least, Kayla Nicole Clark is a graduate from UNC Charlotte. She will graduate with a major in dancing. During her time in college, she's been a member of the Gold Dusters dance team. She's also been actively dancing since the age of 2. bright future. Can't wait to see what happens there. If you'd like to give your high school, college, or college senior a shout out, just head over to foxcarolina.com. We have a link to submit your pictures and information on the homepage. We can't accept professional photos, so please send us one that you've taken. Again, you can find that link in the homepage or inside the Fox Carolina News app.